How's it going, everybody? Doing a drinking Mountain Dew and eating some Oreos video today. I got a bottle of Voltage. I wanted this because, like I said, I wanted some caffeine. When I had those I did get that second headache in a row. I was talking about migraines in that video, and I mentioned like sometimes I'll get one the next day. I did get one the next day. It wasn't as bad. I was able to kind of go to sleep as best I could. And it was there, but it was like medium, so it wasn't awful like the one before, which was good. But I wanted to just drink a caffeine burst. So sometimes caffeine will help, and I haven't had a ton of caffeine recently, so I had some iced tea, but that would have been the Gold Peak. When was that? That'd have been Monday. Got the gold Oreos. That one's weird. They flipped it, I think. Let's see. Yep. Packaging defect. That should be flipped. I don't know. I've been seeing some vids on Silent Hill 2 remake. I guess over in Japan. At least the video I saw. They released, I guess, like a 90-minute kind of walkthrough, I guess, that people were watching of the game. Seemed alright. The guy commenting seemed somewhat excited. I've seen other ones saying it's a pile of shit. I admit for like a split second I was like, should I cancel my pre-order? I'm like, no, I have to find out myself, because I'm not gonna either way. You're encouraged when people are saying it's good. I mean, that same person was kind of like, oh, there's some things here and there. It wasn't like he was like, this is the best thing ever. Same thing with the negative stuff, If you can be like, hey, this isn't good, oh, that's cool, Usually it's just like, especially on the hate side, it's always like it's the biggest pile of shit. This goes for so much stuff. But hate sells. Hate sells more than, that's just the truth. Especially on YouTube and stuff. Negativity usually sells more than positivity. People are more interested in hate, right? You'll see a bunch of movies telling you how terrible Star Wars is, and I can fully agree with it, but I don't need to see 500 videos on it. if I'm not like I've never seen The Last Jedi outside of a few scenes, and I saw a little bit of The Rise of Skywalker. No interest, and I'll leave it at that. But I've said this in the past in a million videos. I'm not passionate enough about that shit. Look, there's another one. I'm just not. I don't care enough. I'll get over it. Like Silent Hill 2, I'm extremely passionate about, but you know what? I will be disappointed if it sucks. And I will make a video saying that, and I'll end it from there. It may get brought up in passing, in a ramble or something, but I won't hammer on it. I'll be like, alright, I'll go back to the original if I want to play it. You know, if people, if Blue, look, there are a lot of them like this. What the fuck? I think I got a rare bag. I was saying something, completely forgot. When it comes to Silent Hill, I will be disappointed, no doubt about it. I'm not going to lose my shit. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Like, if you go in with intents of wanting to make, and I think Blooper Team has that intent, but it just, maybe they changed some stuff up. Maybe it ends up being more combat focused. They make some missteps and it bites them. But if the intent's there, I could at least be like, you know what, I wasn't into it, but they had their heart in the right place. Now, and you could say this maybe about, well, that's more remakes, but if you're going to make new projects, then your heart's not into the franchise, we'll say. And this is, you can see this with Star Wars. And you're trying to make your own vision. It's going to end up biting you in the ass because more people are going to hate it than not, let's be honest, I mean, Star Wars kind of shit the bed years ago, but because I've talked about it. I enjoyed the prequels a ton. The dialogue, some of the dialogue is god awful. It really is. And of course, I've talked about how, Anakin made C-3PO unnecessary. Made no sense for Lucas to put that in there. C-3PO didn't need to be there. R2-D2 didn't need to be there. But he must have been like, people are going to recognize these characters. I got to get him in there. Chewie made sense because he's old. Right? Wookiees live a while. Yoda, obviously. Obi-Wan was younger. He makes sense. There's people that made sense, obviously, because they would have been around then. But Anakin built C-3PO. At least R2 was just there. But people, when the prequels came out, it's funny because people who were young, kids, like, let's say, 7 to 12, whatever, they were young. Like, they loved it, and they still do. They, praise it so much about it. Not all of it, but people who were when episode 1 came out, I was 20. I think I just turned, no, maybe I was still 19 when I first saw it. The second time I saw it, because it would have came out in May. And in June, I would have turned 20. I think the second time I was 19 when I probably first saw it. People my age, maybe a little younger and older, there's so many fucking despised, especially Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones. They were hated. They were hated the same way the prequel ones were. People couldn't stand the prequels, just like the sequels. I hate that, the prequels, sequels. The original trilogy, the prequels and sequels. I couldn't stand it. And, My friends and I liked them well enough. There was some stupid stuff, yes, but I enjoyed them. Unfortunately, in my opinion, a good amount of the CGI and stuff does not hold up. Some of it does. Some of the space battles look really cool, especially in Revenge of the Sith. Now, most people liked Revenge of the Sith when it came out. And you saw it because Phantom Menace did gangbusters at the time. I think it popped $1 billion because they re-released it 50 times. But at the time, it made like 900-something million, which was insane. That was incredible. Outside of Titanic, there was not $1 billion movie at that point. I don't think. And the Titanic, I think, did $2 billion. Titanic was a phenomenon, right? But Attack of the Clones did like 300 million less than Phantom Menace. People were pissed, and they were like, "Fuck this! We're not going to see Attack of the Clones." And Attack of the Clones got shit on. Out of those first 6 movies, the original trilogy and the 3, it's the weakest of them. And it's my least favorite of the prequels, and it's definitely the weakest movie. But it has some really cool parts, like the fight between Jango Fett and Obi-Wan is great. Like, Obi-Wan throws a kick, and like Obi-Wan, that's what I love about Obi-Wan. He'll throw down, like he's using the Force as lights, but he'll throw down. He'll get in there and start throwing punches if he has to. I feel he'll kick. He tried kicking Grievous too, but he kicked metal. He's crafty. He's crafty. He's probably the craftiest of the Jedis, I feel. He'll do what it takes to win. He'll get dirty. He's like, whatever, dude. I'll freaking throw down. We'll get into a wrestling match. I don't give a shit. I like that. I like the speeder chase when they're going after the one, the assassin who tried killing Padme. That was cool, the chase. There's something else in there I really like too. And the fight and stuff at the end was cool. The fight scenes in the prequels were great. Because you were going from basic fighting in the original trilogy to people going nuts in these ones. I guess it made sense in A New Hope that Vader's a robot. Obi-Wan's like, well, at shit at the time, Obi-Wan was probably only like 55. But he's older. He's been through a lot. They didn't feel like moving around much, right? I'm going to eat one more of these. Don't want to go nuts. But once again, this devolves into me talking about Star Wars, but people hated the prequels. If you're my age, if you're 10 years younger, well, maybe not. Definitely if you're older, if you're like 5 years younger than I am, there's a good chance you might have hated those movies. Which, whatever, that's fine. I have no problem with people hating or loving something that I don't hate or love. It's when they just can continue on about it. It's like, dude, it's over. Same thing when they talk about how great it is and they don't shut up. Sometimes that's worse. This happened with, oh man, I can't remember the movie. Everybody was telling me it was so incredible. I'm like, now my hopes get built up, and then it's never gonna live up to what everybody said it was, and then it sucks. I remember hearing a lot of that movie Knives Out, and I am doing that the Burger King thing over either Sunday or Monday. The person commented again. I responded to it, but they had mentioned one of the comments, Knives Out, and I think I talked about Knives Out at some point in the video. I remember I was watching it, and I think it ended up being like a 3-hour. It was like a 3-hour movie or something. Or maybe it wasn't. Let's see how long it was. Maybe it was, but I remember watching it, and I was tired, I had a headache or something. I was like, I don't want to, I'll save this. Or I'm like, well, I'm like, there might only be like a half hour left or 40 minutes left. I swear I thought I was watching this movie for 2 hours. It was literally like 40 minutes into the movie. Like the first time, it was so fucking boring. I was like, how the fuck is this movie? I'm like, how? Like, did something happen here? I was like, what did I miss? I thought I'd been watching it for at least an hour and a half to 2 hours. I guess that's an unpopular opinion by me because I never went back to it. I was like, I can't. It's going to be, in my mind, it's going to be a 10-hour movie. $2 and 10 minutes. Okay, so it wasn't close to 3 hours. So it was 2 hours and 10 minutes. And I was like 40 minutes in, and I literally thought it was like a half hour, 20 minutes left. It felt like I was watching it for 2 hours. That movie was boring as shit. From what I saw of it. And I don't know if it picks up at some point, but I don't know. And everybody was like, it's so great, it's incredible. So I'm not going to be talking about that. I might talk about that one actually and say that it bored the shit out of me from when I saw it. Those 30 minutes, those 40 minutes felt like 2 hours. But yeah, I definitely have enough movies to think about. You know, I've thought about some that I actually have seen, and he mentioned some movies that I have seen that I've definitely talked about Super Dark Times. He mentioned that one. I definitely talked about that in a video because I watch it frequently. Summer of '84, I don't think I did. I may have at some point, but I've seen those two. Both very good. I'll talk about them more in that video. But I'll be talking about other things like Silence of the Lambs, Long Legs just came out. Thrillers, mystery. Clue is a pretty good mystery movie. Knives Out, more of a mystery movie. And then horror stuff, Halloween, and I've done horror movie rambles in the past, so I'll be talking about the Halloweens and Freddy Krueger and Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, all types of horror movies, other stuff as well. Whatever pops into my head, I'm going to be talking about. I always forget stuff on those kind of videos. I'm like talking the same thing, the music rambles and the movie rambles. I'm going on and on. I'm like, I don't think I forgot anything. I turn off the video. I'm like, I forgot that. But yeah, it's just eating Oreos and drinking Mountain Dew video today with babbling about Star Wars. So, like I say in the past, don't take my opinions for these things on that stuff as anything serious. Because at the end of the day, I either like something or I don't, and I typically move on. It never sticks with me, and that goes with stuff I love. It's rare. Like, it will stick for me for a week, and then I forget about it. It could be something I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever, and a week later I've forgotten about it. This happens with video games too. It takes a special exception like a Silent Hill 2 or something like that, where it sticks with me forever. And movies, barely any do. Outside of maybe Blair Witch Project and Ravenous, and maybe Indiana Jones' Last Crusade. But yeah, anyway, thanks for checking this out, and have a good day.